Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living the Dream Dominican Republic. In today's episode, I would like to discuss how I became a Dominican citizen. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. In this series, Living the Dream Dominican Republic, we discuss our journey retiring from the city of Philadelphia and relocating to Dominican Republic. For those of you who are already subscribed, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, hello, my name is Maria. My husband Edwin, our 3 small children, and our 2 dogs are planning on retiring and relocating to the DR. I would invite you all to subscribe so you can join us on this journey. In today's episode, I am discussing the steps that I took on how to become a Dominican citizen. And I would like to start my story way back in 2004. In 2014, my apologies, when I began this journey. So in 2014, I was in the middle of switching jobs. So I had received an offer to start working with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I was 2 weeks leave. I had a 2-week leave in between, so I said, let me take advantage and take this vacation, because you all know how that goes. You gotta wait a year before you take your annual leave. So I booked a flight and I left to the DR. Now my goal was to submit paperwork on becoming a Dominican. And the reason why I was doing this is because, as I've mentioned in my previous video, my father is a Dominican. So because I'm his daughter, we have the ability to have dual citizenship. So I wanted to take advantage because it's always been my dream to live in DR. So I took my birth certificate, the apostille seal, and my dad's Cedula, which is the country's ID, on this journey. For those of you who are not familiar with the word apostille seal in reference to birth certificate, you go to your state's capital and you go to vital records and you request your birth certificate to have the apostille seal. Now what that seal does is the seal of the state of wherever you were born of. For example, I was born in the state of New Jersey, so it has the New Jersey state seal, and it verifies that birth certificate is legitimate, and that seal makes it valid worldwide. So that's why when you want to become a citizen of any other country, they request that your birth certificate has that seal on it to make it valid. It's an interesting information that I wasn't aware of until I decided to become a citizen. So in my journey, I went to the municipality and I spoke to Dr. Milagros, and she's the one who's in charge of, let's say, the vital records of the town of Tenares, which is where my father is from and where I was submitting my paperwork. She told me the steps. She told me I did not need a lawyer at that time. She said the steps were very simple, and in fact they were. I had to get my birth certificate and the apostille seal translated, and then I had to get it notarized. Now in Dominican Republic, for those of you who are unaware, the public notary is not like here in the U.S. Public notary in the Dominican Republic is a lawyer. The lawyer put his seal on it. I went back to Dr. Milagros and she told me, okay, the next step is you have to pay your fee. She told me go to Banco de Reservas, which is the country's bank, and you pay a fee. You let them know this is what it's for. They'll give you a receipt. With that receipt, she says, once you have that, come back and I'll tell you the next step. So I followed her steps to the very T. I went to San Francisco de Macorís per her instructions to register my information, pay another fee, got my receipt. When I had all of my receipts, proof of payments, my translation, and it notarized, she told me, okay, the last step is you have to take it to Santo Domingo, which is the capital of the Dominican Republic. She said there you're going to go to one of the buildings which is basically the same thing as the vital records here in the capital, and they're gonna register you. She says once they have you registered, then they'll give you another receipt. She said it will take some time, but at least you'll have your receipt. And then once everything's verified, they'll give her the green light to go ahead and process my new birth certificate. So I was very ecstatic. I was very happy. I had done the whole steps. It took a little bit of time because at that time I wasn't driving. I was taking public transportation everywhere. So once I got all the information, I went back to her. She says, very good. Now you have two options. Either you take it to the Santo Domingo, or you can pay our messenger. You pay him his fee that he charges to go to Santo Domingo. He'll bring you back your receipt. At that time, I already had only a couple of days left in the country. And it was a Monday. He told me I'll leave Tuesdays and Thursdays, so he was gonna go on Tuesday. He says come back on Thursday because that's when he was gonna go pick up the receipt, and I'll give you the copy when it's ready. I said very good. So Monday I gave him all the paperwork. Tuesday he left first thing in the mornings. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, the first bus out. So of course he takes all the papers that he has to deposit in Santo Domingo. He takes it to his home because he leaves bright and early in the morning. He goes on public transportation as well. So he takes Caribe tours, which is like the Greyhound of DR. So he went, and I asked my cousin if she could please pick up the receipt Thursday. She said, of course. Wednesday, I came back to Philly. So about a week, 2 weeks passed by. And when I haven't heard from her, I said, let me give her a call. Maybe she forgot to go pick up the receipt. I gave her a call. Sure enough, she forgot to go pick up the receipt. But she said that in any event, she was going to go that day. Effectively enough, she did go that day. And brought me back the sad news that the courier had passed away. So since he had passed away, he had never given the receipt to Dr. Milagros. So a year had passed since all of that. I didn't go back for that Christmas, the following Christmas. I went back maybe a year and a half later, and she told me that unfortunately he did pass away, that they did go into the residence, they found documents, and they returned all of the documents to those who they were able to track. However, for those of they weren't able to track, they had to destroy the documents, which makes sense. They're legal documents with no owners. They shredded it. I'm inviting everyone to a glass of wine. Let me take a sip because it's a lot of talking. Wait, sip and deal. So let me continue with my story. So unfortunately, from 2014 all the way till 2021, I did go back to DR a couple of times. In the beginning, she didn't want me to resubmit the paperwork so there wouldn't be a duplicate. But around 2021, because we didn't go because of the COVID, the last time I went was 2019 to celebrate my grandmother's 100th birthday. 2020, we didn't go. 2021, we went for a brief moment. And then, but I did ask her, and she said to go ahead and submit the paperwork. So what I did was in 2022, she told me submit the paperwork in the United States. She says since then laws have changed a lot. She says it's easier now to do it in the United States. So that's what I did. In March, I gathered all my birth certificate, my dad's his Dominican country ID, the Cedula, and I went to the Dominican consulate here in the city of Philadelphia. They told me the process. They told me that they asked for the apostille seal. I asked them if they can get it. They said yes. I signed them the form of consent, and they went and shipped and requested my apostille seal. So in total, I paid I know it was about $85 for the translation, $25 for the actual apostille seal. So I ended up paying a little bit more than the total of those two. It was about maybe $150, I want to say, because they charged the $30 of service, I believe, to have it returned to them, the apostille seal. So they told me that that can take up to 2 months. They said anything between 45 to 60 days. I'm not surprised because that's how long approximately, if you go to the state, they tell you that it takes that long. And I wasn't in a rush. I tried in 2014. Here we are, 2022. I was not in a rush. So they told me they'll call me in the latest 2 months. And they said if I don't hear back from them, to give them a call. That was the beginning of March. I didn't call them till like the beginning of June. And they told me, sure enough, it's ready. Come and get it. So I went, picked it up. So I want to show you guys an example of the apostle seal. This is my apostle seal that they received. I know, why does it say County of Bronx when you said you were born in the state of New Jersey? I was born in the state of New Jersey, and I asked the same question. So they informed me that the Dominican consulate here in the city of Philadelphia send their paperwork to the state of New York, where the Dominican embassy is located, and they request their paperwork. And since it has the apostle seal on it, even if it's from the state of New York, that makes my birth certificate legitimate worldwide. So that's why you see that state of New York seal, making it the apostle seal. They told me, okay, now the next step is you have to deposit the birth certificate with the apostle seal, with the translation, with my father's cedula up in the front. I paid a fee of $25. I paid that fee. They took my fingerprints. They took my picture. They took all of my information. And when I say all of my information, it's basically, ironically, they didn't ask for my social. They asked me for my parents' name, my occupation, the address where I live here, the address I'll be using in DR, which is my grandmother's address. And soon after that, they told me, okay, they gave me another receipt, and I will be inserting it next. So here's the receipt I was talking about. On the top right corner, you can see 10/8/2022. Well, that's the August 10th, 2022. That's when she told me to go and pick up my birth certificate. She said that's when the whole translation should be done. So this is how you see my name, my father's name, and then my mother's name. And it's telling them all the information that they need so they can register in their vital records. And then that's the vital records that I have to go pick up on August the 10th. This receipt, they told me that the dates, as you may have seen, is inverted. So they told me to return August 10th and everything should be ready. So I did not return August 10th. You know how life is, it gets complicated at times and everything doesn't turn out the way you want it to turn out. So they told me to go back. I went around August 29th, and what I wasn't expecting was for my pictures to be taken again. So the first time my pictures was taken and the second time my pictures were taken, my hair looked like a complete mess. I was working and it wasn't in any condition to be taking pictures, much less for an ID. So they gave me my birth certificate from the Dominican Republic. I will be posting that also at next so you can see. So here's a copy of the birth certificate they gave me as if I was born in the Dominican Republic. You'll still see that it says Passaic. That's because it's a county of Passaic, the city of Passaic, the state of New Jersey, and it has my parents' name on it. But in the top, if you may have noticed, it talks about the files, and then this is the date that it was issued. It was issued to me August 29, 2022. And they gave me my cedula right then and there. So they took my fingerprints and my pictures again. And when I tell you that I saw the stars of how happy I was when I finally received my cedula. So what I would like for you guys to understand is when you're living in Dominican Republic, they ask you for your cedula for everything. That is their country's ID. So here, you know how they ask you for your driver's license for everything, your state ID for everything? Same thing for Dominican Republic. You're going to turn on the electric, the water, the internet, you want phone service, you want a membership at the Sirena. They ask you for your cedula. Guess who has one now? this one right here. So I'm very, very, very happy. Now, wherever I go, I can just show my cedula. I don't have to worry about showing my passport. Don't have to worry about carrying my passport everywhere I go. You know, I can just carry my cedula and mingle with the with the rest of the Dominicans. So now I have my dual citizenship, American/Dominican, and my husband is getting ready to go for the next round, because now he has to become a Dominican resident because he's 100% Puerto Rican. So unfortunately, he does not have Dominican blood in him. So he has to go through the small steps that everyone has to go through, which is become a resident and then become a citizen. But it's quite a journey. I look forward to sharing all of our journeys with you guys. Hopefully soon we plan on taking a trip out to the DR. We intend on taking you guys with us. If you guys have any questions about the process, about the cost, about the time, it took less than 6 months for me to become a Dominican citizen in 2022. So yes, I'm very excited. I have my cedula, and I will be posting that up very shortly with you guys, sharing my joy. Okay guys, so here is my cedula. So you see the black mark I have on the top, that's hiding the ID number. And right underneath you'll see the state of New Jersey, where I was born, my date of birth, and then it says nationality Dominican Republic. So sex, and then it says right next to sex, it says sangre, that's the blood type. Was not required to do that because I'm here in the US. However, if I choose to renew this cedula in the Dominican Republic, that will be required. Right underneath you'll see it says occupation, it says private employer. That's because I work in law enforcement, and because I'm not working law enforcement in the Dominican Republic, they are mandated to put private employer. And then you'll also see that I have 2 last names, and it's because they require to have your paternal and your maternal last names on it, like most of the world. But that's what I wanted to show you. Also, behind it, or in the back of the card, it has your address of where you reside. So that's another good thing. It's basically like here in the US, just like a state ID. It has all your information. Here it asks you if you're an organ donor. There it has your blood type. I hope you guys like this video. Please hit like, comment if you like to know anything in particular, if you have any questions, if there's a topic you would like me to discuss. I do intend on having a video maybe next week, and we'll be discussing the plot of land that we bought. Have a good one, guys. Oh, it's happy hour. You know it's 5 o'clock somewhere.